A Jefferson Parish watchdog says a councilman is looking out for himself and his friends instead of taxpayers. It is a response to the findings in our latest investigation that finds the councilman spending your money to treat himself and his inner circle to lavish events. When the Jefferson Parish Chamber of Commerce urged the council to spend BP settlement money on flood protection, one council member went against that request.
I think it's outrageous.
The parish received a $54 million payoff for the BP oil spill destruction. Last year, West Bank Councilman Mark Spears directed $51,000 of that money to the Jug Social Club and the crew of Namtok for a Christmas parade.
As far as I'm concerned, that's unacceptable.
Unacceptable to this government watchdog because after giving the Christmas parade the money, the club made Spears the Grand Marshal. Here he is in the float.
And he's spending $51,000 that could be better spent somewhere else.
We uncovered Spears used another $47,000 of BP money to hire an executive assistant.
I try to make it my business to stay on top of what's going on, yeah.
Every council member knows Al Morella.
All they see is money. You can stay in that seat if you want to.
He's a regular at council meetings. We showed Morella how Spears has spent taxpayer money.
We're not seeing no accountability.
Jefferson Parish Council members control several discretionary funds, like the BP Settlement Fund, that critics call slush funds. Public money the council members can direct to projects or for a cause. But Morella says Spears is spending some of that money to benefit himself and people in his inner circle. In late April, we sent an undercover camera into the Zurich Classic Golf Tournament. That's because every year Spears sends money there out of his discretionary tourism fund. This year, $75,000. In return, it would appear the council gets a suite. There it is, listed as Jefferson Parish Council. But get this, 4 council members had no idea the parish council even had it. Cynthia Lee Shane, Chris Roberts, Paul Johnston, and Dominic Impastato all told us they weren't aware of it. A 5th, West Bank Councilman Ricky Template says he didn't know about the suite until after the tournament and was surprised. One council member, Jennifer Van Vranken, didn't answer our questions. Back in April, we watched that suite for 3 days of the tournament and found Spears and some of his closest advisors in it.
Nah, they're having a good old time. Cell phone.
We showed Al Morella the pictures.
Yes, indeed.
Among the suite guests, Spears' predecessor, former Councilman Byron Lee, and Lee's son.
Byron Lee is his mentor.
For the 3 days, we didn't see any other council member in the suite, only Spears. But again, look, the suite's labeled Jefferson Parish Council. It raises the question, if it's a council suite, why would Byron Lee be there? But 5 current council members not even know about it.
They shouldn't be using taxpayer money for none of that.
For a suite?
That's right. They want to attend something like this, like I told you. They should be using their own money, not ours.
But there's more. Last year, Spears sent $253,000 out of his tourism discretionary fund to the West Bank Heritage Festival.
Gee, man.
That festival has ties to Byron Lee and another person in Spears' inner circle, Carol Smith. Let's take a step back to 2010 and a scathing legislative audit on a nonprofit healthcare provider, Jefferson Community Healthcare Centers. The CEO, Carol Smith. The audit found the nonprofit used public funds for personal purchases, loans to employees, and other gifts and donations. In 2012, the auditor released another report. This time it detailed nearly 7 years' worth of payments from the parish to the nonprofit, totaling $2.25 million. Then Councilman Byron Lee proposed many of the resolutions authorizing the payments and voted on all but one of those resolutions. At the same time, the audit found Lee's family members worked for the clinics, earning a total of $117,000. The auditor concluded that may violate state law. The audit also found the center's CEO, Carol Smith, paid herself $17,000 in unearned leave benefits, invested $92,000 in a for-profit business, and made an improper donation to Byron Lee's campaign fund. In conclusion, the auditor found the center may have violated state law and IRS regulations. That same Carol Smith also consulted for Mark Spears' campaign. Her company, Optimum Management, earned $40,000. Smith also opened a consulting business with Byron Lee. And that brings us back to the West Bank Heritage Festival, again, where Mark Spears sent $253,000 of tourism money. The festival submitted stacks of records to the parish to justify the $253,000 payment. In those records, a letter that shows Byron Lee lined up the insurance for the event.
This is Byron Lee, and we said, come on out.
In fact, here's a YouTube link of Lee, who's listed as an event VIP. The records show Carol Smith's company, Optimum Management, which worked on Spears' campaign, also made money off this festival. For 3 months of 2017, $21,000. Smith appeared to use public funds for this event to purchase a birthday cake, a bottle of wine, Coors Light, Corona, and a corkscrew.
Taxpayer money, that's illegal.
Here's Spears' campaign sign at the event, along with a short YouTube message.
The 4th edition of the West Bank Heritage Festival. We have a big crowd.
So Mark Spears directed $253,000 of taxpayer money to an event associated with Byron Lee and Carol Smith, the same people who have been the focus of several scathing audits.
I think it's misappropriation of taxpayer money. Yes, I do. How is it representing the best interest of the people?
Mark Spears declined our request for an on-camera interview, but he did send us an email defending his spending. In the email, Spears touted the money he sent to several organizations and events. He left out the Zurich Classic and the Christmas Parade, where he was Grand Marshal. Spears says his spending is consistent with the way district improvement funds are spent in every other council district. Some council members do give money to similar organizations like the Gretna Heritage Festival and the Crew of Adonis. And Spears noted some of his discretionary money has funded walking trails, tot lots, community centers, parks and recreation, summer camps, roads, sewage and drainage improvements, efforts to reduce crime, and other initiatives for the betterment of the parish. But this Jefferson Parish watchdog says some of Spears' spending raises questions when you combine the money with the people who may be benefiting from it. Byron Lee told us by email, I ask that you not foster an environment through your reporting that seeks to destroy the goodwill that I've accumulated in my private and professional life. Although I've not been in public office for nearly 7 years, I continue to volunteer my time and resources in my community. Carol Smith told us, while I respect your journalistic reporting, I am merely asking for accuracy and fairness. Tomorrow night, more on Mark Spears. That has Watchdog calling for an investigation. We spent months digging through hundreds of contracts, thousands of pages of records involving millions of your tax dollars. The contracts involve another Jefferson Parish insider, one we also spotted in the Zurich